Welcome to the NAVUG Conversation. I'm Steve Waltz.
And I'm Jeff Pergolski.
And we're excited here, Jeff. I think this is episode number 7. Is that right?
Lucky 7, yes.
Awesome. So this one, we decided to talk about a Microsoft meeting that we just got back from Focus. And Jeff had a pretty exciting week or so. Jeff, you're going to be talking about, what is that again?
Yeah, like while you were frolicking in Houston, I was over in Redmond meeting with a client with Microsoft in a HoloLens envisioning session. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. You've been hearing a lot about the HoloLens, so I'm excited to hear about your experience out there. So, but yeah, I thought what we could do is talk about the Microsoft Focus meeting that was held, I think it was March 14th and 15th out in the great state of Texas in Houston. We were there in force. There was 6 of us there, Jeff. So we had quite a bit of presence there.
Yeah, I was not one of those 6, though.
Well, somebody has to bring in something while we're out there, right? But so we had we had our owner and founder Donovan was there. We had Tom Dorn, our director of marketing, who's also a NAV All-Star. I think we had about 7 presentations, and it was interesting. Holly Kutil was with us, and it was funny. My wife started listening to the podcast, and she goes, "You guys were kind of funny." And she kind of asked, What's NAV again? What is ERP? I'm thinking, I've been here 4 years. Are you listening to me? You don't even know what this stuff is. But she said it was funny. So I thought what we could do is let's add Holly to the call. Should we add Holly to the call?
Let's do it. Yes.
All right. So we don't know if Holly's going to join. We think she will because the owner told everybody if Steve reaches out to you, you should answer. So let's find out if actually she's going to answer. So, but I think we can kind of get her perspective on what she did. Hi, Holly. How are you?
Hi, and Jeff. How are you guys?
Good morning. I'm super awesome. It's Friday.
What's going on?
So Holly can see on Skype that Jeff and I are on the call. And so, Holly, you're on our next webinar. I mean, next not webinar. I'm sorry, podcast.
Come on, Steve. Get your media screen straight.
I was invited back already. Awesome.
You made it back. So I was just telling Jeff and our listeners how my wife was listening to the last podcast, and she's like, "You guys are funny." Now, what's NAV again? What's ERP stand for? So
right.
Oh man,
there's probably people listening to us that do not know what NAV or ERP is. We should do a contest.
We should, because I think we're up to 5 or 6 listeners now, Jeff. You think we're really?
Does that exclude my mom and your wife?
Yeah,
my wife won't even listen to us. Oh, and Holly's husband. You guys clearly have better marriages than I. And the only reason I can say that is because I know my wife doesn't listen.
Oh, you're talking podcast or in general, Jeff?
All right, I'm gonna end it. I've been married 25 years, Steve. I'm smart enough to end the conversation there.
There you go. All right.
Not smart enough to have not started, but yeah. Right on. So let's get back on track. Focus. Oh, wait, we're doing a contest first? Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do the contest first. So the first person that emails Jeff Pergolski what NAV stands for and what ERP means will win an Inovia coffee mug. Let's do that.
Ooh, they're going to be fighting over that, Holly.
Yeah, that sounds...
And so the challenge is probably more your email address and able to spell your last name than what ERP means.
Let's make them look for that. Let's make them look for that. Like, let's not even give it to them over the podcast.
Pergolski. That's right.
Don't you tell them the address? Does they have to find it somewhere?
So my wife will get it first because her maiden name ends with Ski. So I think we got a few.
Ooh, all right, awesome.
All right. But okay,
we'll give some clues along the way during today's podcast about how to spell my name.
We will announce the winner at the next podcast. What do you think?
Assuming that we get an email in the next 2 weeks. So so that's a contest. That's a great idea, Holly. Yes,
right.
She's an idea person. Let's get focused on focus. Since I wasn't there, what went on in Focus, guys?
Wow. So we were in Houston. And best shopping mall ever, let me just say, shout out to the Houston Galleria. I think they didn't miss a store. I even tried on a pair of Louis Vuittons and walked around in them. It was very fun. Also at a skating rink. And then I got to go to the rodeo. First rodeo ever was the Houston Rodeo. Monstrous, 70,000 people. And a concert by Kings of Leon following. And I got to enjoy that with one of our customers. So that was a great time. And then we got serious and spent 2 days at Focus. And what an amazing event that we had. Right, Steve?
It is. And, it's interesting. I was at the Denver meeting and a customer asked, I think it was Andrea, said, so what would you rather go to, Focus or Summit? And Andrea, she was actually there. I had a little fun with her about it. She says, well, if you want to learn and deep dive, you go to Focus. If you want to go to have a good time and party, you go to Summit. And I thought that was an interesting way of putting it. But I'm like, hold on, back up. There's a little of both. But, why do you think she felt the more of the learning would be at a Focus, Holly?
Yeah, so Focus is very deep dive. The sessions are a little bit longer. The information is a little deeper. So people who come to Focus come there to glean knowledge and information and grow their skills inside the ERP and the product, NAV and Business Central. It's focused on 4 groups. So this time we had distribution and logistics manager was one track. And so all the sessions in that track were around that in particular area. Administrator, developer, and controller. So we had those 4 tracks this year at Focus, and all the sessions related to those areas and really took them into what their job role is and how to best do that inside the ERP and what works well for them to make them successful in their areas. So great content, a lot of great speakers. I was privileged to participate in a panel on the super admin side, and we talked about how to utilize the tools inside of NAV and also how to team build around you super users to be successful as an administrator. My goal was always as a NAV admin to be able to put my feet up and drink my coffee and let people swim along and be successful on their own and only have to come to me when absolutely necessary as an admin. And so that's what we tried to help the admin at Focus learn to do. Mm-hmm. And then the other session I did was on Business Central. It was the first time I presented a whole session in Business Central, SaaS in the cloud. And so used that software and demoed it, and we dug into it and looked at it. And the same thing on the side of an admin. What tools inside of Business Central in the cloud are available to you to make your job easier and make you more productive and to bring more skills to the rest of your team around you?
That session sounds familiar. I wonder why.
I think you were my Vanna White in that session.
I noticed you said I did that a few times, and just to let you know, I was part of the presentation with Holly, but I just found out later as we were going through it, I was her Vanna White. It was kind of fun.
Did you wear a wig?
And you were a wonderful Vanna White.
I've never been anybody's eye candy before. So it was.
There you go.
It was probably my first and last, Jeff. So I've done some of these podcasts with Jeff like that, right? Hey, we're gonna talk about a technical subject. Here you go. Here's Jeff. So I'm getting used to that. Just having a little fun with you guys. But yeah, it was. It was
you
very
did
cool.
Share some great information in the session, so you were really not just.
I know. I was having some fun with you, and the neat thing is it was a well-attended session, and as Holly said, so you have these sessions that people get to choose throughout the day what they want to go to, and some of the hardest things, like when I was talking with some of our customers and other people there, was that it's some people go a lot of times to the summit for the 101 type of classes and maybe a little bit more than that, and then here instead of a 102, but you're kind of getting to more advanced. But it seems like some people are kind of stuck in the middle, and so I think you did a good job on kind of really having your session kind of geared towards a little bit. We'll talk about some of the basics and kind of dive into it, and I think it had a good lead into getting to the weeds because. That's I think when people go to Focus, that's kind of what they're hoping to get, and it's right. It's not that easy because when the people do their sessions, most of them are end users or partners, so they're not really getting paid to do these things. They're helping their community to help the community get stronger and the users to get better. So, but yeah.
Right. When you think more than 150 presentations, and every speaker there was volunteer. Everyone involved was volunteer. Nobody is paid to participate in the community or to participate in these live events as presenters. And, what an awesome job everybody did, and the amount of time and energy that goes in to preparing prior to the actual event. And all of those sessions are out in the community. So if you go to the Focus page, there's a link that sends you over to the materials from Focus, and you can see those presentations in the PDF form, and some of their papers that they shared and gave out as well are there and available.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, a lot of times after the sessions, people ask, is it recorded? They're not recorded. However, the presentations are downloaded and saved on the Focus site. Holly, is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
You go to the NAVUG.com,
right,
and then you go to the Conferences Focus, and at the bottom there's a link that takes you to the materials from the past events, including this year's.
Awesome. So
another great thing for people to do is if they look at the presentations and something really stands out to them, like, wow, wish I would have been in that session, is to send that off to the Dynamics community and let them know that they would really like to hear that session, and they can reach out and see if we can get that presenter to do a webinar within the community and repeat it for you guys.
Well, that's good to know. So we get a lot of requests for the local chapters on presentations, and I was in Chicago actually earlier this week, and they did a great job. Ravi and his team do a great job at those meetings, and they kind of ask at the end, what would you like to hear or see? And I think there were 6 topics, which I thought were all great, because if you need to have some of the variety to get more people to come to those type of things, and it sparks more interest in the community. So, but getting back to the Focus meeting, so I'm trying to think, is there any other maybe things that if people are thinking, I'm interested in going maybe to Focus next year, kind of what to expect, or you think there's anything that that stood out to you that they should know?
Yeah, so Focus. It's more networking because it's a much smaller group. The NAV and BC community are sort of off to themselves a little bit. And so there's a lot more time to network and talk to other people in your area. Being tracks that are set up by job roles, you get to meet more people in your area. So if you're a controller or finance, you get to spend time with them and trade business cards and information, which is, another plus to that. There's not a big expo with a lot of hoop going on. There's the sponsors who, shout out to the sponsors that were there. What a great job, and how much appreciated sponsorship is to the community to make these kind of events happen. And there's those handful there to talk to and meet with, but as a whole, even the meal times, the evening hours, it's more subdued to just kind of sit around the lobby area of the hotel we're in and talk to people and make connections and share ideas and information. You see a lot of people sitting around together on a computer screen and just sharing knowledge, showing each other how they do things and how to help each other along the way. And so you get great sessions, great information, networking, and some of that time that seems to not happen so much, it's because it's so busy and active, to just kind of sit down in a small group and get things together and troubleshoot and collaborate on stuff, which is really nice. For me this year, it was exciting to be there on the partner side. So every other year I've been on the user side and leave with a brain full of information and my head spinning with all the great new input. And so this year on the partner side, being able to be there more as support for our customers, making sure they're finding what they need, and they're enjoying the event, and keeping an eye on them and hosting them, so to speak, was a lot of fun to be there on that end.
Well, that's great. I think, when we bring you on our next podcast, maybe we can have you get a little bit more in depth on the difference of being on the partner side versus the customer side. So, Holly, Jeff and I appreciate it so much that you were able to pop in on there. We know you're busy, so we appreciate you taking time, and we'll catch up to you later on our next podcast.
Sounds great. Anytime, guys. And I do think I have 3 or 4 new tickets I need to go take care of. So I will hop off, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right.
Okay, Holly.
All right.
So all right. That was fun. I think. I think if we keep popping in on billable people, I think our CEO Alan Wine might start calling us. Can you do that off hours?
So that's what so that's a completely different podcast, the Inovia Conversation After Hours, and we'll you and I can put on some smoking jackets and drink some cognac and break it down, but let's get back to ERP and NAV and BC. What else can we say?
Exactly, and I think to wrap up the focus before we go on to what the cool thing that you did last week. So when we go as a company, we're all in obviously with the user group, but we were fortunate. We had I think about 20%. I don't have the hard number. I'm guessing of the attendees were our customers, Jeff, that went. Wow. It was quite a showing, and it was very cool. We had a dinner where we had close to 40 people at dinner. To kind of say thank you to them. So for all our customers that are listening, especially those that attended our dinner, we appreciate you. We thank you, and hopefully you felt that was a good conference. Actually, I did a session called Cracking the CRM Code, and it was pretty well attended. And we even had, I think it was 3 or 4 of our customers were in that session. So that was very, very cool on that one. So awesome. We're looking forward to going back next year. We don't know where it's at or where it's going to be, but as soon as we find out, we'll be sure to let you know. So while we were out there, obviously you were with I think a customer. Did you go out with a customer out west?
I did. Yep. Yeah. Right. And actually, what I was so I headed to Redmond into the Microsoft headquarters to meet with one of their mixed reality teams to sit in on what's referred to as an envisioning session that sort of firms up the goals of a HoloLens project. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with Microsoft HoloLens, it is their mixed reality headset. It's important to understand. I was not clear about there is virtual reality and there is mixed reality, and they differ. Virtual reality, you put on a headset and you're in a completely virtual environment. With mixed reality, you are mixing reality with virtual reality. So you're seeing some of both, and that's the real power of the Microsoft HoloLens solution. You put it on, and you can be walking around in a conference room, but then also looking at a 3D model of a project that you're working on, whether that be a giant excavator or maybe it's you're an architect and it's a building that you're all envisioning. But you can see this virtualized creation as well as how it fits in to the real world. So we spent an entire day at the Microsoft Mixed Reality Studio talking about what's possible with that technology. People are really excited about HoloLens because the second iteration of that product was announced just a few weeks ago. It is supposed to be released sometime in 2019. I know we've got our name, Inovia has our name on the list to get our hands on that technology so we can start developing. And I think the specifics of that, I mean, there's just unbelievable opportunity to put on these headsets. Microsoft showed they demonstrated at last year's Inspire conference the remote assist capabilities, the fact that you can put on one of these headsets and then have your service technician out in the field showing what he's seeing, and then having someone help troubleshoot that with them and putting the right schematic diagrams in front of them, links to troubleshooting documents, whether they just exist on the web or wherever they are. It's just incredibly powerful technology. So that was shown last year at Inspire, but then taking that now a step further with the HoloLens 2 and the all the advancements in what's possible in terms of how you interact with that. It's a really cool tool, and I think it's got across the board, it's got the ability to help create training documents. To deliver training in just so much more advanced way than has been ever possible before. It's got all kinds of things. We've got a number, as I was talking to some of our customers, letting them know where I was last week. I was surprised to learn that a handful of our customers are interested in this technology, and not because to address a specific need, but just because they've seen the information about it and they realize how important. I read a recent Microsoft study that said 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are already engaged in virtual or mixed reality projects in their environment and their businesses. So I think it's something that is in its infancy. There's there's a lot of limitations to the technology right now, but it's really powerful stuff. And I think actually, in my role as pre-sales, I get to play with a lot of the new technology, whether it's software or hardware. I've got I don't have a HoloLens. I've got a Windows mixed reality headset. I've got a Samsung, and I'm going to be bringing that to our customer conference next month. And we're going to, show a little bit of Business Central and how it looks through a virtualized environment, just to sort of, open the eyes of our customers and prospects and clients to what's possible with this latest technology. So that's again a plug for our customer conference that is coming up. Steve, do you have the dates handy? I probably should, but I don't.
April 24th and 25th.
I knew you would know that. Thank you. So that if you want to see a little bit of virtual reality, that's one reason to come. If there's any information that you're looking for around virtual reality or mixed reality, please reach out to me. I love. I'm following that on LinkedIn. I've got all my subscription feeds to all things that are virtual and mixed reality, especially in the Microsoft space. So that's what I did. It was really cool. The working directly with Microsoft at that level is amazing. I mean, they have just unbelievable resources. We were, we sat in. There were 4 or 5 of us that were sitting in, all with HoloLenses on, and it was, we were participating in all these different virtualized and mixed reality environments to see what a meeting would be like with using this technology with people in different rooms or on different continents in the real world. And then also we went to a virtualized construction site where it was a bridge project that we were looking at and placing construction equipment there and looking at the project timeline and seeing all of that stuff through one view of the HoloLens was a powerful statement about the potential of that collaboration tool. So I think I've said enough about it. It was a really cool week. I'm not sure, if you had a cooler week at Focus than I did, but I think we both probably had pretty good weeks last week. Wouldn't you say?
You know what? Yes. And, when I talked about, in the world of CRM. So where are we in this era of technology. I've listened to Jack Ma talk about, where are we at in the cycle? Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba, and he's worth $25 billion. And, it's so different. You think about when you had everybody had a PC, and then, we got PCs talking to PCs. Then we got PCs talking to, through the internet, and now commerce. But now it seems like, you're hearing this AI and all these different things like what you just talked about. And we are so early in the game. But one of the things I did at Focus, and then the last couple of user groups I've been to, is try to gauge where people are at. Where do you feel you're at in this technology cycle, in the Internet of Things? And, people are just now starting to touch Power BI, and, it's underutilization of CRM, the high failure rate. Everybody wants to use their data to sell more things, but this technology that Microsoft's going to, and, one thing that I don't know if if we made it clear, but this is not an easy program to get in, is it, Jeff?
No, it is. It's it's really popular right now, and I think that as we have been in at the ground floor, we're fortunate that I think back to like 6 or 7 years ago when before Office 365 was Office 365, when it was BPOS, Business Productivity Online Suite. I was sitting in my dining room with 2 laptops, remoted into a customer in Arkansas and migrating their email and documents to SharePoint, OneDrive, and now it's come to the point where we are, we've got access to all the latest and greatest, and I think it benefits our customers.
Absolutely, and being an early adopter with Microsoft, and we're fortunate. We have a great relationship with them, and we talk about it all the time. So, where's technology going? What does it look like a year from now, 3 years, 5 years from now? And to be part of this, and we're fortunate because not many partners have access to that and are doing it. And you even have the customers that are like, okay, we have the resources, we're very interested, and that this is stuff that we that we want to get involved with. So that's cool stuff, Jeff. Thanks for that update.
Oh, you are welcome. So I don't know if do we have a defined time limit, or it seems like yesterday we started this podcast, and already it is. It is. Is there anything left for you to say about Focus, I guess?
I would just say I encourage people that if you are interested in sending somebody from your company to learn more about NAV, and the conversations that we have is that everybody knows they need more training, but now you have to get involved with the resources and the time and so forth. So I thought there's some great sessions that were available, and there's quite a few more at the summit. If I told you you had to pick one, Jeff, to go, and if you have a bigger variety at Summit, and you have more, it's an extra day. There's more to choose from. But if you're new to it and you're thrown into the fire and you need more, then Focus is, if you can do both, great. And Focus can really help, for that, for those people, like especially if it's heavier, a lot of financial things going on. So, but we were excited to be there. We were excited to see our customers. But no, I think that's about all I have to add for Focus. And coming up, like we talked about earlier, on April 24th and 25th is our Innovia Customer Conference. I think, Jeff, we're going to break the 100. So, I think that's gonna be exciting. We have, I think, 17 ISVs signed up for that. So that's a good opportunity for our customers and prospective customers to talk with these great Microsoft add-ons, and I think that's the next event coming up. And so, as we always talk about, you can follow us on Twitter. Actually, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Walt Steve. Jeff, do you have a Twitter account?
I'm going to say that they should just follow the Innovia Twitter, because that's safer.
It's safer. Okay. So obviously we're on Innovia.com, and Holly has a Twitter site, and we'll let Holly tell you on the next time we have her on there. But obviously Innovia, we are on there. We are also on LinkedIn, and we are on Facebook. So we are all over social media. So if you haven't had a chance to follow us, we're out there. So, Jeff, anything else you want to say before we take off and sign off to our listeners?
Well, most importantly, considering they found us, maybe they found us on YouTube, maybe they found us from the website, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, the Google Play Store, Stitcher, any of those apps where you consume your podcast. We would love for you to keep coming back and getting this valuable content that we work so hard to curate on your behalf. How did that sound, Steve? Was that fancy?
I think that sounds great. It'd actually be nice to have some followers besides our family and employees. So, but yeah. So,
but then that increases the pressure to deliver. So it's a mixed bag there. Awesome.
It is.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think thanks everyone for listening. And until next time, I'm Jeff Progulski.
I'm Steve Waltz, and have a great rest of your week.